Hagen-Dazs, oh Hagen-Dazs, where art thou? Mates, you only have yourself to blame. And Dalot. My brother WhatsApped me, and he was like, I think I'll miss him. I was like, after you've been talking about how trash he's been. So I think my brother is like semi-happy that he's gone. But look, this had to happen. This 100% had to happen because for Ten Hag, and we'll get into it a bit more into this vid because there are going to be a few things in it. So buckle up, get a meal, get a drink. Ten Hag, you only have yourself to blame because you were trying to be something you're not. Let me give you a life adage, like some life advice. Know who you are. Now, the difficulty is knowing who you are. But once you find out who you are and know who you are, be the best person of that version. Okay? Be the best version of who you are that you can possibly be. That is a key to life. You can fake trying to be something else. You can only fake it for so much. Yes, I'm trying to fake it to get this job. I'm trying to fake it to get this girl. But when you get that job, eventually you'll get found out. When you get that girl, eventually the girl will source you out. Be true to who you are. And this is even advice to guys who were like, oh my gosh, I want this girl so much, so I'm going to now try and pretend to be something. No, because eventually she'll find out. Be who you are. And if that girl doesn't like who you are, it is what it is. There are more women than men in this world. You'll find one. But never, ever fake it. Because you can only fake it for so long. You can be who you are for all time. You can't fake it forever. And Ten Hag was trying to fake it. And what do I mean by that? When Ten Hag was brought in, he was brought in to bring in a philosophy. He was brought in because with the Ajax manager, you're in the lineage started by Rinus Michels in the 70s through to Cruyff that has bled into a Pep and now him as well. So you were brought in to bring United a very strong philosophy. Win, lose or draw, let us have a foundation. Let us have a philosophy to stand with. Look at what Barcelona are doing. Now, granted, they have the greatest academy of all time, but the idea was to have a strong philosophy. So every player that gets acquired fits into the philosophy. Players that don't fit into philosophy, they get sold. They get shifted out. So the entire team, the squad, the bench, the youth team, the reserves, the B team, all adhere to a certain philosophy and way of playing. Somewhere along the line, Ten Hag deviated from that. I don't know why. Because there are two types of managers. You have the philosophy manager and you have the gid manager. And a great example of a philosophy manager is Pep Guardiola. A great example of a gid manager is someone like a Mourinho or a Antonio Conte. Ten Hag was brought in to be a philosophy manager. Somewhere along the line, he now deviated to become a gid manager. Remember what I said before. You can't fake it all the way. Ten Hag was trying to be something he wasn't. Ten Hag is a philosophy manager. That's what it is, because that is the school that you come from. That is the idea you come from, and that's why you were hired. You were not hired to do a Mourinho. Because United knew that based on everything that has happened through Moyes, through Mourinho, through Ragnarok, through Ole, they had to say, let's start from scratch. Let's build. And we are willing to give you time to try to build something anew from scratch. So United knew that they didn't have the team, they didn't have the players, they didn't have the situation to hire a Mourinho or a Conte to win it out, or an Ancelotti to win it out. And the mistake that Ten Hag made was that team, you were trying to make them a gid team, which doesn't work. Because gid works for cops. And that's what Ten Hag's excuse to say I should still be here because Karabuki and Football Association. Philosophy works best in leagues. Go ask your boy Pep Guardiola. But the issue Ten Hag is Man United's standard is beyond the Karabuki and Football Association. With all due disrespect. With all due disrespect, Ten Hag, you can't be touting the Karabuki and Football Association and saying that you're a success as a United manager. This is not the house that Alexander Ferguson built. Alexander the Great built a house that was you trying to go for leagues and for UCLs. He didn't build that. So for Ten Hag, I feel for him in a sense of Dalot, Rashford, Garnacho, guys that you can help these guys. But I don't feel any effects of him when you did sign Rasmus. You brought in Zexi. You brought a washed-up Casemiro that Real Madrid warned you about. So those were your players that you brought in. So in that sense, I don't feel sorry for you. And Ten Hag has to realize that what's what United supposed to do? Like I said again, I said no. There was no way in hell that he's finishing the season. There was no way in hell this guy was going to finish the season because I'm sorry, it has gotten way too bad. It has gotten way too bad. So it was not a question of whether he was going to be sacked. It's when he was going to be sacked. And when Ten Hag reflects on this, I think he would say that I should have stuck to philosophy. Because you see, lose on your terms. Lose being you. Again, let a girl dump you for being you. Don't let her dump you for you trying to be something that you're not and you trying to fake it and you being sussed out. So if Ten Hag was dumped because you lost too many games, because you tried to stick to a philosophy and a way of playing and you tried to coach guys into a way of playing and you tried to acquire guys into a way of playing, you could be like, hold your head up and say, hey, I did my best my way and I did what I was hired to do. But the football was trash. There was no philosophy. There was no identity. So you got sacked and you messed up, not really on your terms. And when people look back at things, okay, he won some trophies, but still to this day, football heritage has still been the best manager since Alexander the Great. Shout out to your boy Mourinho. He's still been the best manager. So, for Man, it's a mess. It's a mess. Because the key thing now is this is yet another failure. Because a lot was invested into Ten Hag. A lot was spent. The fidget spinner from the favelas was about 100 mil. The Danish moose, that's about 70 mil. So that's 170 mil spent on 2 duds. One of which is in the infirmary for the foreseeable future. It's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good, bro. So for INEOS, their only saving grace is this was not our guy. We're not going to hire our guy. And this is going to be the guy that we're going to hire. And INEOS has to be very careful that the next person you hire has got to be the right one. It has to be the right one. So, Ruud van Nistelrooy is the interim. And the idea is that he might be the interim till January. Might be till January, but he's the interim. I don't think Ruud should be handling this, no. He's not shown enough credentials or coaching to do. And don't fall into the Ole mistake. What is the Ole mistake? Ruud wins 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, boom. Because what if Ruud beats our boys Chelsea 3-0? He wins the next 50 games. Then people are like, oh, hold your horses. Maybe he's the right guy. Don't fall into that mistake. Because Ruud van Nistelrooy is not a long-term fix. He might be a short-term fix. He's not a long-term fix. Be very careful about Southgate. Southgate, I think, was perfect for England. And England will realize that it was a big mistake letting him go. And England's best chance of winning a major trophy was with Southgate. Southgate, I don't see him being a good club manager. Club management, international management are two very different things. And I don't think Southgate would work well in club management. His resume doesn't say that he's been successful in it. And in this United situation that is very particular, the Gates ain't going to cut it. Xavi is interesting. Xavi is interesting. I wouldn't jump up and say, oh, Xavi, that's great. But what is Xavi? Philosophy. Xavi will come in and say, this is a way of playing, and this is how I want guys to play, and this is the players that I want to play in this certain way because of the schooling and the education he's had. So hiring Xavi will almost force you into there, and the mistake that United must not make is the same mistake they made with Ten Hag. If you hire Xavi, you've got to support him all the way. Any players that he deems surface requirements have to be sold. Not mentioning any names, Rashford. And you have to support him in the transfer market to acquire the players that he needs to cook. So whereas I don't think Xavi is an appointment to be excited about because he lacks experience, but he has won La Liga in a team that consisted of Real Madrid and Atleti. So if you compare it, winning the Eredivisie with Ajax isn't as great as winning La Liga with Barcelona, a league that has Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid in it. So even if Xavi may have less experience than Ten Hag, I feel that his achievements were better. United, again, take your time. Amorim is still a possibility if you can get him out of his contract. Maybe wait a year. Wait till the end of the season. Because again, take your time. Write the season off. Write it off. Van Nistelrooy, Cook, do what you want. The season is a write-off. I think United have, 3-4 losses right now. They're like a -3 GD. The season is over. It's done. At best, try and claw for top 4. But regards to winning the league, that's done. It's over with. And hope for the best in Europa League. So write the season off. Look again at the end of the season. Because again, don't rush into hiring a manager now. Because being the mess that Ten Hag has been, United have got to be very careful about the next manager that they hire. But guys, is this or is this not Boychester divided? Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.